This is your weekend market recap for Friday, January 28th, 2022. Let's go.
This is Dan Max at EXP Realty, aka the Trading Agent, and this is my stock, Bitcoin, gold, and silver daily market recaps. Please subscribe if you like what you see. Thank you.
Sorry, I did not record Bitcoin on the first time around. This is a supplementary throw-in. This is a long video, tons of instruction for the weekend. Let's get into Bitcoin real quick. Big cup and handle. Talked about the second green zone as support resistance. You can see it's been holding the lows of this. We're into it. I like the volume down here in the short term. It looks juicy. I think this could be the bottom, but ultimately, what do we need to do to confirm it? Break the downtrend. Break the downtrend with volume, get bullish. At this point, it could just be consolidate. Again, if you're buying down here, bravo. High five, good work. You've got the volume coming off the lows. I want to see it break the downtrend. This action can be super sloppy and choppy. Confirm it with the break of the downtrend. I hope this helps. And sorry for supplementing. This is Dan Max at EXP Realty, aka the Trading Agent, and this is a weekend market recap for Friday, January 28th, 2022. Let's get into it. First, if you got questions, please stop by the Discord room. Always looking to help people. There's a few of us who are just hanging out, always talking about the trades we're looking at the charts, intraday action. If you have questions, please check it out. And also, too, if you like this content, please subscribe. There's tons of videos and educational videos on the Discord room, on the channel. Tons of daily market recaps and live trade alerts and just tips for everything. So this is an educational channel. So if you're new to it, please check out some of the stuff. Please don't be scared to stop by the Discord room, say hello. If you got questions, we'll help you out. So again, Discord room, a lot of stuff going on. I just want people to be aware that this is a year ending in 2. It's typically a bear market. Just be aware. But it usually gets a lot worse in the summer and then into October. That's what you need to be aware of. The spring can be a little sloppy. It's interesting, this week had, a 14.5% drawdown on the Qs. You haven't had weeks like that, if you can see on this, since 02, 01, and 08. So this kind of action feels like it's starting a bear market. We could be wrong, obviously, but it just all depends on what the Feds end up doing. But there are signs of hope for the short term for bulls. Let's get into it. TLT. If you're not watching the TLT daily, in the background, you got to know what's going on. Interest rates, again, the TLT moves inverse to interest rates. So when the TLT is rising, the rates are going lower. Yields are going lower. In general, rates, bonds, yields are going lower. Market's going to like that. I've talked about this since October I really thought the market was fine as long as the rates were stable. If you look at this move from 154 down to 140, and then you look at, say, the 10-year Treasury, the market is priced in 2 rate hikes already. Interest rates are 50 basis points higher already. So, buy the rumor, sell the news. Sell the rumor, buy the news. Watch the bond market. If the bond market starts anticipating weakness by going up, then the market, I think, is going to get more comfortable just with lower rates again. The 20-day now is your next demarcation. If you look in real closely, keep an eye on that. And again, what ultimately we get to the SPY, just keep in mind, that's why I'm not shorting the market. I've always told you, the big short is when the market and interest rates rise. So when the market dumps and interest rates rise, as long as there's this continued, just low rate environment, there's nowhere else to go and put your money. I just think people come back to stocks. Now again, we'll see which ones are acting better. I truly think you'll see materials lead in time. Just keep that in mind. So let's get into the dollar. This resistance zone, we talked about this yesterday. I was watch how we close up here. Then today we dojied. You've gone from the 100-day back up to the range high pretty quickly. I think the dollar is about to soften up. We'll see. Man, for bear friends, from the Discord room to all over the internet, I warned people. I said, when it's spiked this big on the VIX, we're in a crash underway. Tell me what the crash is from. The Fed's raising rates. No, it's not even till March. It didn't happen, this decision. Russia invading the Ukraine, don't really have faith in it. Again, I've said this a billion times if you follow me for any period of time. Anytime interest rates rise, just notice how global turmoil and tension pops up. It seems like they just naturally know how to get people to pump back into the bond market, to keep yields low, to keep the machine going, to keep the money printing going, to justify just more bull market. When it ends, We'll see. I mean, again, I think tech's going to start to lag here. It's already started to crack. I mean, all tech except, and then again, the one company that I've said that's probably not going to crack as easily, Apple. Keep in mind, they have a huge dividend and a lot of cash. Let's get into SPY. Again, if you think about the VIX, this was the peak VIX day, you know, this big down day, huge volume. And now what have I said? Watch the 200 day. We're closing right under it. If the VIX is about to come back down into the, you know, teens, maybe back to the trend line, maybe back to the 200 day area, then you can't be short in the market, man. You got to wait. I always tell people this, like, big moves should be digested. They always are. And if you're not getting that and you're jumping into the hype and the fear and the maximum like emotion that's at highs and lows, you, my friend, are going to be a dead trader at some point. And people might not like to hear that, but that's what I always tell people. Don't chase the emotion. Actually start to become a contrarian when it seems obvious, because that's what we're going to talk about with gold and silver in a second. I mean, I said, you know, when this dropped so hard and we got into this range, like, please don't be a bear yet. Wait, let it pop if you want to short. Just stop being so motivated by the emotions of other people and the talking heads and all the other people who are just the lemmings jumping off the fucking cliff. And I hate to use strong language, but it's just so frustrating. People, I'm telling them, like, we need to look for dips to buy going into earnings and the seasonality of things in February. Like, just wait for the trend lines to touch, like, or wait for this 450 area. I mean, this is going to be resistance as well. You can see the VAP zone there. Just feel bad that people, beginners don't, or people even who've been trading 20 years, they still don't get this shit. They, you know, they're, when the market's tanking, they're getting bearish in these days, and these are the days that I'm like, I'm gonna start looking for buys. I mean, it's the same thing. A big move, digest. Big up move, digest. I mean, wait to short. Again, there probably is a short coming, but even if there isn't, get out of the freaking way. Don't be sitting here with your head up your ass saying, well, I think the market's going to tank. It might end up tanking later, but it's going to bounce first. That's what you need to know. And if you're just, man, if you got your head up your ass and you've only been trading so long, or you've been trading a long time and you get this inkling to follow the herd, your emotions are a really good test of doing the opposite things at times. I mean, speaking of sentiment, so we talked about this on Monday and Tuesday. I was like, I am not surprised if the market, this was a bull trap. Because I guess the sentiment, everybody's saying how great gold is. I mean, if you weren't paying attention to anything and lived under a rock, maybe I get it. But go on Twitter, stock twits, every freaking news outlet, gold, silver, materials. Shit's on. And now guess what? It drops. Sentiment has been wrecked. Getting back to support areas. Now again, I think and now I gotta like come to Jesus here. Like, I've been wrong here. I thought we bottomed yesterday. But let's just do the levels. Let's clear it out. You know, let's clear it out and let's look at the levels. Today's action to me, and you see this gap here. This is the area to start buying again. It's just that simple. Look at the monthly, zoom out and get your bearing. It's a big ass cup and handle where, man, we are compressing under this downtrend. Keep in mind, when it's ready to go, do the Fibonacci extensions. I would put a 2 times range at 269. That could take months, but it also could take weeks if the shit breaks the downtrend. Just keep in mind what's going on. Again, weeks, months, I don't know how long it'll take. Silver. Again, my friends, we talked about the 200 day. It's not like we didn't identify the highs here and said, beware. Every time we hit the 200 day, silver has backed off. Why is that not? Hold on, let me see if this... It's not showing the full 200. Why is the 200 day not following me back into the past? Anyway, well, yeah, 200 day, here we go. Yep, 200 day is always important. It's important here, important here. It's been important. Again, repeating patterns. Now, guess where we're back? We're in the no-brainer buy zone, and people are going to... Back testing the trend line. People are just scared, and it's like, man, my friends that have been trading with me for a while, that I know what's going on, they are all just sitting here like, you got to be kidding. What a freaking gift. If you get stopped out, great. And let's get into this rant about stops, because this is what saves your ass, ultimately, is that if you're an all or nothing trader, that's a problem too. If you're not layering in when you think you're trying to catch a low or selling on the way up in pieces, you're going to learn the hard lesson. And the lesson is what I know and what everybody knows. Picking tops and bottoms to exact prices is very difficult, but getting in around those areas, managing your risk near the lows or the highs is smart. I mean, we'll talk that with Tesla when it was going ape shit running higher. I'm like, if you're not selling this, I'm going to come back there and then spank you in the face at some point and say, what are you doing? It's over here. I mean, sentiment runs up, it backs off. If you get stopped out, great. Now you get back into the no-brainer buy zone. You're watching the videos. You're paying attention. You're looking at the monthly going, got it. This blue zone, D-Max, this is what's up right here. This is what matters. Buy this range with a tight stop on the monthly. Get anywhere near 20 every single time and just be patient. Patient, patient, patient. Market's very good at shaking out weak hands, and I apologize for all the dirty charts, but looks like a big ass W. I don't know what to tell folks sometimes. Like, it's just, they want it all right now. And again, you're picking a hardest market, and you know, we can talk about some reasons why things take a while, but I mean, if you look at tech after it topped in 2001, I mean, it took 10-15 years to consolidate and then go. I'm not saying gold's been doing that big ass consolidation pattern. 2011, oh, I apologize, popped, peak 2011, 10 years later, cup and handle. When it goes, it goes. Same thing with silver, not in a cup and handle formation, but since 2011, base, monster, look below and fail, pop, holding the zone. I mean, I don't know what to tell you. If you can't be patient and you can't hold this stuff, then go find something else to trade. So let's look at the miners. This is where it's getting really freaking juicy. This doji today down here, retesting the lows. Again, check out the monthly. Oh my God, you're at the channel lows. I mean, where else do you want to buy? Now, can you be patient? Can you set your stops? Can you allow the trade to come to you? I hope so. Same thing with the GDXJ. Look at the monthly. You're near the lows. Could it do a blowout? I mean, I guess that was COVID blowout. I don't know if we're in a COVID blowout type of situation. My guess would be worst case, it like just does this pummeling crap along the bottom of the range, or it's about to go. Now again, risk versus reward. Know your downsides, know your upsides. Let's get into some of the miners. KL is getting real interesting because you know, these Fridays with dojis, I like to see that sometimes because it just, again, keep in mind the end of the month is next week. KL's coming into the zone. I mean, if you see 35 on this, I think you gotta pull the trigger on it. So I'm just keeping it real for you, keeping it simple. Have stops, know your levels, do what you need to do to be comfortable. And again, everyone's personality is different. How much risk they can take on, it's all depending on their psychology. AG, I mean, I'm calling for a buy yesterday in the 10s, and I don't care. I mean, I literally don't care. I mean, if I have to stop out, fine, but you have to look at what it's done. I mean, it's making higher lows. Could it go lower? Obviously. But if you look at silver, you go, good gosh, it's back towards the range of lows, the 200 week. I mean, throw a Fibonacci on there and you'll see some things. I mean, let's just call it what it is. I bet we're near the 0.75. But anyway, people say, well, it looks like it could go lower. You know what? This action says it definitely could go lower. But one of the things I'm looking at ultimately is, what's my risk reward? Like, how low can the stock go? You know, you're into some really important areas. If you see this this is the volume at price zone. This is where the most congestion and action is. You're at the low end of the range. You have to think about it. If the price is considered a deal down here, and people know that, it has a history of it, do you think you should be buying down here? With a stop. Now again, I'm not saying anything for certain, but should you be buying it with a stop? Times are tough. Bottoms are tough. I mean, it's the same thing when I tell people, we'll talk about it in Tesla in a minute, like the highs. Like, you just can't find a buyer. You can't, or a seller at the high. PAAS, it's pulling a similar, too much. Demasiado, my. We're getting back in some levels that it's just getting stupid. Volume's increasing. You're definitely shaking hands. So be aware. This could be, you know, either a trend to go lower and you could back test, say, like 18, which would be pretty wild, or this is a bull trap, a bear trap. I always tell people, bear traps don't have to be just on an hour, 2 hour. I mean, it can be a daily, monthly, weekly bear traps. All patterns are repeating. If it happens on the daily, it's happening on the weekly. Just keep that in mind. Again, this is going to be a long video. This is for your education. Let's get into some of the metals. X, great earnings. I mean, I know they missed, but they're going to make, I think, $11 a share this year. It's trading at 1.7 times future earnings. Talked about buying it down here. Again, I've said on the monthly, wait, look at that. The 20 month, it's now turning up. People, I mean, I say this almost every video. Went from $4 to 30. Consolidating is fine. I want it to consolidate, shake out the weak hands. I mean, maybe I'm wrong. I trade it sometimes, but I watch these levels and I say, you know what? Let's just call it what it is. After a big move up, you have to consolidate if you want to rise higher. That's the safe way to do it. To me, says a bigger move up is coming. Think about everybody shaking to shit. Now, of course, I'd love it to rip higher. Straight line move, get some crazy action, but guess what? I'm also aware that doesn't always happen. So it is what it is. VALE, we've talked about this. I mean, if you overlay the S&P 500 and the Qs over this, Qs are SPY, VALE's up. This is acting well in this market. It's telling you something. It has the capacity to look through all of the weakness and go higher. That's bullish. I'm just saying that's bullish. Keep it that simple. Let's get into the tech, because this is the stuff where, you know, like, as hard as it is to buy the lows, I have the same fucking people argue with me at the highs that, oh, I can't sell AMD. And we talked about this action. You know, you're up against the primary, like, overhead channel, head and shoulders, and nobody wants to sell. And then it gets tanks and they disappear. No, you can't get a phone call back. I'm like, hey, what'd you do with AMD? Click. Hey, how's that AMD? Click. Hey, man, what are you doing with AMD? Click. I mean, it's like, okay, well, get mad at yourself, not me. I mean, you had, almost a month and a half to take profits. And again, think about where it came from. From 71 up to 160. That's a great move. AMD, great company, clearly doing well. But even these minuscule, like these smaller moves, they took time to consolidate. Now you backfill and you... I mean, it just boggles my mind that people just can't see that you got to take profits into strength, and every great stock has these pullbacks. Let's talk about the champion of the market currently right now, Apple. I put out an alert, check the channel, said watch the 100-day, nice earnings, Apple saves the day. If you've watched previous videos, what have I said? I think we hit this monthly upper channel. Seems very obvious we will at some point. Apple has a huge dividend, huge buyback. They can leverage all their cash, not like all these other tech companies. So can it lead higher? Yeah, definitely can. So if you're not watching Apple, again, I don't know what you're doing. Let's get into the Mr. Micro strategy, because this is now, if Bitcoin's, oh man, I forgot to do Bitcoin off the start. I apologize. If Bitcoin's bottomed, you got to watch this stuff, man. I think this thing could rip. So keep that in mind. Just keep it simple. Roblox. This is interesting because, you know, I mean, I've even noticed like a fucking casino for the kids, but you're below the IPO price. I think the downside is starting to get minimalized. I mean, I even, again, come to Jesus. I liked it here to buy, and I liked it here, but guess what? Stops did their job. I didn't buy any today. I didn't do anything. I was snowboarding. If you check out the Discord room, that is ugly, fugly action. However, notice big moves tend to just reverse. I think at some point you're going to get a bounce in Roblox. Their numbers are pretty good ultimately. Could be wrong, but I mean, have your stops. RIVN, this is another one where, you know, I know people who bought it this day, and I won't hear from them for a couple more months. Maybe even at the bottom I'll hear from them. They'll be like, I sold it at 30 and I bought it at $140. Oh, you sold it? Hold on. Click. All right, cool. I just bought some shares. Why'd you sell again? Oh, because it's going to zero. Okay, click. Hold on. All right, double that order up. You know what I mean? Like that's the retail mindset. I mean, all the people that do this kind of silly stuff are retail friends of mine, and they just like the, hey, I did this with this trade, and I'm doing with this, and I'm like, all right, well, just be careful. Yeah, it looks ugly. I mean, the 20-day is so far behind. It's gonna hit there and bounce at some point, and probably bounce off of it lower. See what happens. Again, this is, I mean, here you go. Here's a story of like everybody just silent treatment. It said, what happens? You have a nice channel up. The accelerated J hook is the end of the move. Just like this previous one needs to consolidate. It said, watch the channel lows. And then what happened today? We got below the 200-day. We hit the 0.382. Sweet. Nice bounce. Now again, you notice how I have these downtrend lines? I want to see the downtrend break before you can get bullish, because what it could be doing is just chopping. I mean, it's oversold short term. Naturally, you go from 1,000 down to 800. I mean, that's 20%. Probably could bounce 10 or 15%. Watch what happens. I mean, you can scalp it if you want, but just be smart. Just don't marry these trades, like, especially long term. I mean, this is the hardest part about Tesla bulls. I keep telling people, watch the channels. We're at low end of the channel. Great. Next month at some point we probably test it, and if we break through that channel, the uptrend is over. Tesla's uptrend will be over. Don't be surprised if it gets absolutely shit canned and goes lower. If it holds it, good for Tesla, good for Elon. But I mean, if you read his latest earning report, I mean, I don't know what the fuck he's talking about. Excuse my language again. Let's get into some of the names that people are always asking about. UTHR said down near this lower channel. I mean, it's been in a big consolidation pattern here. Speaking of consolidation, I mean, it came from much lower prices. I mean, every time you zoom back, you just see how far it came from. This was on a big bull run. It's consolidating. It's wedging. I'm okay with that if you own it. It doesn't say bearish to me. It just says consolidation. So get above 215. We will set the alarm. We will buy the stock. We will let it run. PENN Gaming. Hey-o. Get over the 20-day. Man, this thing has been a major disappointment. I've been wrong. I thought this was bottoming. Again, I gave up on it. It did break this little mini downtrend. It's back testing it. You need to get over the 20-day. At some point, there's a ton of shorts that got to get squeezed. That's all I'm worried about. EXPI, I liked it at 25, 26, 27, 28. Now it's getting silly down here. You're getting into the seasonal bullish times for real estate stocks. Now here's another trade. Watch the TLT. If the TLT is bottoming, this thing should pop. It's just that simple. Let's end it on XOP and ExxonMobil. XOP, holding up high and tight. When we talked about breaking the downtrend with volume, it's back tested now, and now it's kind of in no man's land. If you really want to get bullish, let it get over this 112s area. That'll confirm the next move. However, I do see oil potentially just chopping out a little bit. ExxonMobil, it's been acting stronger than I thought. It's still getting a little choppy up here. I've warned people on the monthly, be aware where you're coming into. If you've watched this far into the video multiple times, you know, like, this downtrend, 100-month, 200-month are crossing. So again, if you like this kind of stuff, please stop by the Discord room. There's tons of people trying to help. And if you think you can master the markets on your own, here, I'll just give you a basketball and see you in 2 years and hopefully see you making an NBA, because that's kind of the odds you're facing here. If you think you can, like, get master trading on your own without coaching, without help, without resources. So I hope this helps, and I'll talk to you guys and gals later.
Thanks for watching. For more trading knowledge and insight, click on the videos on the right, and also join the Discord room. Link is in the description below. If you have any questions, please stop on by the Discord room and let's chat. Thank you.